1340 96.5 KVGC. Good morning, everyone. On the phone with me, Douglas Viviani of Everything Old is New Again. Tonight, he and David Cohen host a show called Everything Old is New Again, the show that examines our pop culture every week, where it came from, why it's still popular, and definitely these two make radio fun again. Douglas, so what is going on?
Oh, I'm having a time of my life trying to figure out what to watch on TV these days. I know we've talked about this before, but we used to just open up the TV guide and plan our week because there were 3 stations of channels. Now it's exploding. I don't know if you've seen all the new shows on Hulu, Amazon Prime, CBS All Access, got Star Trek Discovery, Netflix with Stranger Things, Defenders, a new one, Lost in Space, and I think I have found the next binge-worthy show, although they only issue 10 episodes at a time, on YouTube Red. Did you even hear of this channel? I don't even know it existed. It's Cobra Kai. Have you heard of this?
No.
It is, the original Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, went to Half Hell Hills High School, which is my high school, just FYI. And Billy Zabka, who was the villain, if you will, in the original episode. It got beat up. They're both back as older gentlemen. Billy Zabka is now training kids for the new Cobra Kai, and he has a special way of dealing with millennials. He's an old curmudgeon at this point, and he's fallen upon hard times, and he's not interested in hearing about technology and being bullied on a cyberbullying and all that. He's like, well, these characters can't even bully you in person. They do it on a computer. I'm going to teach you how to deal with people face to face and so forth. And then he, of course, has that aggressive attitude. And along comes Ralph Macchio, who's a car dealer, and they have their difficulties again. And I don't know. It's actually a very new take on a very old movie that I think is worth your time.
Did you say car dealer or card dealer?
Car dealer.
Okay. Did you watch, I think it was Ralph Macchio, was on Dancing with the Stars.
I did see that. He was also on the new Kevin James show, Kevin Can Wait.
And he has some type of a problem where he can't remember. It's either short-term or long-term memory. Did you hear about that?
That's another gentleman from, was it Malcolm in the Middle?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Malcolm. That was Malcolm.
Well, Macho was on Dancing. He went out probably, I think it was he had one of these famous wardrobe malfunctions where I forget the dancer's name, the small dancer. Anyway, she got caught up in his feet or what have you, and they fell and this whole thing. But he's still around. He's still here.
We only have to suffer through another week or two of Dancing with the Stars, and then it'll be gone. So.
They destroyed that program. I mean, what did they do?
I don't understand. Why are they bringing back American Idol? Who cares anymore?
Yeah, it's amazing. These. You thought that these reality shows, or they always think in television that these shows are foolproof and they're going to last forever. Well, Dancing with the Stars on 25 seasons. Now it's not years, but 25 seasons. It's got to be about 13 years. And American Idol had its run. But my problem with American Idol is this: it's a nice family show and all that. And my kids, are young enough where they didn't see the originals, so we kind of watch it here and there just to watch something together. But my problem is with the music scene. I don't admire, and it's terrible to say, I do admire singers, yes, but I don't think that's the end all. I prefer people that write and perform their own music, that are even in a band, longevity, and just to have someone that can sing and that's like the period on the sentence doesn't do it for me. There's more to music than just singing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
so to admire just the singer and even the voice and all these shows, that no one comes into play. There should be a show. You want to do a new reality show? Do a show about a band or rock and roll or something like that. Where what's the best band and so forth? Show the instruments being played, the instrumentality of these people. Like all of a sudden, like it's like magic for all these people when they sing. Except for once in a while, there's got a person who play a guitar. Where the music comes from, they don't even show half the time the musicianship that's going on behind all these singers to make this stuff sound great. I don't know. That's just my take on it. I don't know.
And if you want to expand on that, let's do it on a big band group, or a group that is electric, guitars and so forth, but has a horn section to it, and maybe even a string section, and see how they all come together.
Right.
And it's not all electric. Every time I watch a big band, and I like big band music. I like jazz music. I like big band music. I think to myself, you know what? That music, that man, that woman up there on the stage, they are actually making that sound right now that we're listening to. It's not electronic. It's not redubbed. It's not overdubbed. It's not processed. Those people are making that sound right now.
Exactly. And the talent behind that is beyond belief. I've been, a younger guy who was in a band, and you could see, like a fellow like my co-host David Cohen, he came to the table in our band back in the day with a talent that I knew my grandfather had, but he was the only person ever in my life that I'd ever met besides my grandfather who was self-taught music, has an ear. If he hears a song, he can play it on the guitar like 3 minutes later. He knows what chord, I hear that chord, it's an A or whatever it might be, and just has the natural talent for music and love of music. It just flows out of there. If that makes sense. When I play the piano, I have to read the music or have memorized the chords. Otherwise, I'm shot. It's like if you're not into music, maybe it doesn't make sense. But if you know a little bit about music, and I think everybody does, the idea is some people have that talent where it's almost a miracle that to witness it. It's incredible. When they just have this ear for music and ability to play it, and it just comes out of them. Is that
Douglas? Besides being a panhandler and a game show hustler, what does David do? What's his job?
He is a CPA and they call it now CFO for a company in New York City.
So his mind is wired to numbers and figures and processes, correct?
Yes, but he also has that very creative side, that artistic side that he cultivates and doesn't hide.
But that would help him in music, because music is all mathematics. I mean, music breaks
that's a good
down.
point. I guess so. It does make sense.
Yeah, it is. Trust me.
But you have to have the ear for it. He's not reading music, so it's not like he's putting it together that way. He's putting it together in his mind. He's hearing what the chords are. He taught himself the bass. He taught himself the guitar, and he writes music. And
listen. I said enough good things about him. Okay. Don't try to keep building him up. All right. Hey, 142nd Ione Homecoming.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm just curious. Is that like, to me, when I hear homecoming, I think of the football, game in the high school team. But it looks like this is more than that.
This started out 142 years ago as a picnic and gathering, and I believe, someone will correct me on this, I'm sure, it was on Mother's Day weekend, and it was a way for people to come back to town, and if you had been gone for a while, you could come back and see your mother and take her to a town picnic. And then it just expanded and became, a 3-day event, and it used to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They would have Miss Ione, the Miss Ione pageant on Thursday. Now they do that a week ahead of time on a Saturday. And then Friday, like last night, there was music, there was fireworks out at the picnic grounds, baseball games, so forth. And then there'll be, I think mutton busting was last night too. And then today, there's the parade this morning on Main Street, and then everybody will head out. There's Soapbox Derby. They'll go out to the picnic grounds, or there'll be a carnival and bingo and ranch rodeo and just,
Wow.
And then here's one for you. They have a candy drop, okay? And what they do is a guy gets in his plane, and he flies around. And then all the kids run out, because there's soccer fields out there. There's a nice soccer complex. All the kids are out there on the field, and he drives by, and they drop bags of candy out of the plane. And the kids, I know it sounds
What's the liability insurance on that?
What's the first thing that pops into your mind? I know the first thing pops into my mind is throwing frozen turkeys out of the plane, right?
Yeah, WKRC.
Yeah.
KRV in Cincinnati. What's the name?
WKRP. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the humanity. No, but they throw these candy out, and then away you go. And they also have an interesting thing, and in fact, I should have bought you and David a ticket. It's cow chip bingo.
Oh boy!
And they have a large area that's marked off with numbers, and it's in a corral, and they let a cow and a calf in there, and then the calf tickets are $100. The calf tickets are $50. The cow tickets are $100, and if the cow does its business in your number, you win. I think it's like $5,000. If the calf, it's like $2,000, and
but is that a spectator sport? Or
well, I mean, it goes on all day long. It's they put them in there, and then hopefully they'll.
So what you could I don't know, put a clothespin on your nose and peek in and then leave.
Well, it's out there in the field. You can watch it, and yeah.
That I actually would like to see. That is very unique. Is it unique to Jackson or Ione or?
You thought we weren't cultured around here?
Yeah, that seems to have come from the days of we talked about last week, the wagon train. I would suggest that's probably like, I don't know, where did the history of that has to be investigated? I have to do a show on that. I don't know.
Speaking of the wagon train, at the Chamber of Commerce mixer on Wednesday, I talked to the wagon train folks, and they would love to have you and David, or you and your family, the kids, to come out and actually ride on the wagon train with them for the entire 4 days.
I would love to do that.
Yep.
What's the weekend? It's a year for. It's like in May, right? The first week in May or something.
Yeah, it'll be the second week in May.
I had to plan something like that. And when is the Calaveras jumping frog?
Next weekend. So you got.
Oh man, I have to come out twice or something. I'll come out for a long period of time.
You could come, and then maybe you could come for the wagon train. Then maybe you could take the kids to San Francisco, maybe go up to Humboldt County, maybe back down to
wine country.
Yeah,
and
go
all
to
that.
wine country. Then you could go maybe to Tahoe, and then come to the Calaveras County Fair, and then fly back.
I love the idea. I go to Tahoe and go to the north side of Tahoe, where Bonanza was, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I can visit that. That's actually, I'm going to have to talk to the wife. We're getting there where we need to do a West Coast trip. We haven't done it in the longest time. And
you guys could do the show from our studio.
Yeah, why not? Oh, that would be great. I will really look into that because I'm very into the wagon train stuff at this point. I have tons of questions. I'll bring a microphone and tape interviews and things while on the way because I have tons of questions about the. I even brought it up with my friend that's a manager of Kevin James that we play cards with every so often, and we talk to them. We were just these East Coast kids playing cards. We're not kids anymore, but we were talking for an hour and a half about wagon train and what it was like, and I told him what you were saying about how you slept underneath the wagon train and all this, and just we're fascinated by it. It's something that people don't realize on the East Coast. It sounds like obviously it's part of your lore there, your history. But was Jackson, by the way, like one of the stops? I mean, that's hard to say, but it was close to the Oregon Trail, I think it was. No,
they would come across, and they would come over Carson Pass and Donner Pass. Donner Pass is to the north of us. Carson Pass is on Highway 88, but they would use Donner Pass mostly, and that's the famous Donner Party got stuck in the snow and they had to end up eating themselves and all that. But no, we're just part of the gold country. We're just part of.
Well, I did see. I noticed that when I get to I think somewhere in Nevada, it's the trail.
I think it splits. Yeah,
north to way up to Oregon, of course the Oregon Trail, and then the southern part went down to basically Sacramento area. I'm pretty sure.
Right, like Sutter's Fort and coming.
So so it's close enough. I mean, you're in that range.
Okay, yeah, you know what? You know what? No, it is. It's close enough. Everybody thinks New York is one big city, so we'll just say California is where the wagon train.
For New Yorkers, I will say, you were like an exit off of the Long Island Expressway.
Hey, but you know what, Douglas? This is what fascinates me, and I I hope you take this right. I love talking to you every week because I like your accent, and I like your the way you are, and that's the way that that a lot of people think New Yorkers. I mean, again, excuse this. I know you don't live in New York, but that's where you live in New York to us. You don't live in East Stony Fork or whatever that. What is your town? I'm sorry, I screw it up every week. But
East Northport, of course.
East Northport.
Yes.
And it would be great to sit down in a room of guys, three of your guys, three of my guys, East Coast, West Coast, and just play cards and talk and see that, we are different, but we're all the same. But you grew up with certain things that were, just every day to you. We did. But to me, I go, wow, you did that. That's amazing. And we do things, and you go, wow, that's amazing.
Exactly. We are 3,000 miles apart. We share a lot of shared history and things like that with America. But even so, like Kit Carson, for example, is someone that obviously I think is pretty known even by your school children, right, out there.
Oh, yeah.
Here, we know the name, but until that Frontier show was on a couple of weeks back, I don't think anybody really knew how significant he was, or even what Carson City was and all that, So, yeah, it is fun. I lived in California for 2 years, a year and a half myself, a little bit in San Francisco and down in L.A. in the Valley, and I found the same thing. It was very interesting to, with an open mind, go in and just see the different experiences that we had in America. So there's some universality to it, but there's different focuses on things that I'll know more about. Let's say, I don't know, the Revolutionary War in Philadelphia and all that stuff. And you fellows will know more about, of course, the wagon train and what's going on in the West and settling down there. And I mean, just as an example, there's tons of things like that. And so, yeah, it is a lot of fun. You're right.
Hey, what's up with this week's show?
Well, I'll tell you, talk about music a little bit. You see, I don't know if you saw the announcements. Sir Elton John and Leonard Skinner, what's left of that band, are touring for the last time this summer. So it kind of raised a red flag for me a little bit and say, I grew up on certain music. I know you did. We enjoyed it from the 60s and 70s and even the 80s. The question is now, if you've got children in this music environment now, and what's being produced by American Idol and all that, would they be interested in music of the past? And if so, would it be worthwhile to take, let's say, Angelica, my 9-year-old, to see a band, or what bands or performers would you want to see that are on their last legs now? Would it be worthwhile? And would she even remember, say, seeing Leonard Skinner for the last concert? And it's for her first concert, and it will, pass off the legacy, if you will, of at least a love of live music.
I would take her to see Elton John. Don't waste your time going to see Leonard Skinner. It's not Leonard Skinner. Sorry. My wife and I have this argument every time they come to town. Seriously, every time they come in the area, I'll get her tickets for her and her friends to go see Leonard Skinner. No, to me, Leonard Skinner, the band, died in the plane crash. And I'm sorry, this is just, there's only one remaining member of the group. There are a few that are still alive here and there. But no, the band died. Sorry, folks, but the band died when the plane crashed, and that's
totally understand. But how about the bigger picture of is it worthwhile to take a child to a rock and roll show, if you will? Even if it's Elton John or Billy Joel, who plays once a month on Madison Square Garden, is it too young for her, and or will it make an impression upon her in her music tastes? Will she even care, or is this all totally a waste of time?
I will bet you that you will find out that, if you took it to Leonard Skinner or to Billy Joel or to Elton John, when they start playing the songs, you're going to look over at her, and she's going to be singing some of those songs. She's going to know some of the words of those songs.
And that's a kick to me. That's like time travel, I mean,
my kids know something will come on like some Motown sound. Okay, I also like Motown. Okay, we're talking about jazz, big band. I'm a big Motown fan. Mike, and I never really, exposed my kids to this type of music that much, so they don't really know that Dad is a Motown fan that much. But my kids, a song will come on and they'll start singing it, and they know it. And it amazes me that But I think, I mean, we could do a whole show on this, the way that music affects people at just a personal level.
And is a little piece of time travel. I'll make a long story short, if I can. When I was 17 years old, I had tickets to see Leonard Skinner at the Nassau Coliseum. The plane crashed. Of course, they couldn't perform, and I haven't seen them since. So in some way, this is like we would be. I know what you're saying about the band, but in some small way, with a small tether to that, to my teen years, bringing my child to see a band that I had tickets to see and all that history. I mean, it's just, and then hearing the music that she's familiar with. It's a little bit of time travel. It's kind of
you just made me think about something. There are three moments in my life, 3 moments in time that I can remember. All right, actually 4. I'll say President Kennedy, but everybody remembers President Kennedy. But in contemporary, okay, the Leonard Skinner plane crash, Jim Croce. Remember Jim Croce?
Oh, sure, from Long Island.
Big Jim Croce fan. Jim Croce.
Cats in the Cradle.
And it's just I remember those, and it just like it was yesterday. I mean, Leonard Skinner, and when Jim Croce when the
modern day the music died, right?
Yeah. So anyway, well, today's show we're going to talk about bands and who we're going to see.
Sorry. So that's going to be our debate back and forth. If there's a band and what band or performers that are touring this summer that you have to see.
All right.
And are on the way out, not ones that are new. I'm talking about bands that this might be their last tour.
All right, I say go see Elton John. Okay, go see Elton John. Don't waste your time on Leonard Skinner.
All right, but are there any others? There's tons touring, and you'll find out tonight which ones we suggest.
Tonight at 6:00, David Cohen and our good friend Douglas Viviani hosts the show called Everything Old is New Again. Again, tomorrow night at 6:00. All right, Douglas, have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy the New York accent tonight.